pints. I love this part of the show. And I'm very pleased that Dr Jan Halper-Hayes has joined me. Welcome to the programme.
Thanks for having me. It's great to see you.
Well, we've met before, of course, as I've popped across the pond once or twice. So just to sort of go into, before we talk about Republican politics and your passion for all of this and Republicans abroad and all of those things, so you are trained, you are qualified as a behavioural psychologist.
Yes, yeah.
And
political. I specialized originally in organizational and leadership. And then and I've always been involved in politics, but when I helped set up Republicans overseas in 2014, I became even more fascinated, but also very concerned. And so I went back to school. In 2017, I went to Stanford to their summer institute for political psychology so I could get certified as a political psychologist and really understand those dynamics that much more. And it has helped quite a bit.
Now, way before you got very involved in politics. You, of course, have had a successful business career. You come from a family of sort of serial entrepreneurs and, I guess, capitalists in a genuine sense of the term, as opposed to global corporatists.
Oh, absolutely. Earn your keep, work hard, be innovative, create something. In other words, when I get up every day, and even if I went back to work now, the first thing is, would I be making a difference? And that's always what our parents said. Are we making a difference? Whether it was when my parents had a shop in Port Sacal, which was a big tourist area in San Pedro outside of Los Angeles. It was always, how are we going to make a difference for other people? And I spent probably the past 8 years really giving back. And it has been so fulfilling. People go, oh, you're not getting paid for this? No, I'm actually paying for the privilege.
But you did get paid along the way, and you've run a very successful business. And from what I can understand of what you were doing, you were working with big companies, successful companies, chief executives, and trying to get them to organise themselves and function better.
Right. Yeah. For example, I led the merger and acquisition for Taylor Nelson Sofres, TNS, which was a big company here. And they were in 90 different countries. And so for 7 months, I hit almost all of their offices. But we ended up picking the best of the 400 leaders. And then I went around working with them as teams to figure out how they were going to implement the strategic rationale. Because there's one thing about the reason for the deal, and there's another thing about, is this going to work?
And working in those days predominantly with men.
Yes.
Men chairmen, men CEOs, and you've got some interesting observations on all of this that you've put into a book. Please tell us about it.
Well, Quiet Desperation, The Truth About Successful Men.
So what have you learned about successful men?
Well, here's the thing, that what prompted me to write it, which I wrote it a number of years ago, was that there was someone named John Malloy who wrote Dress for Success for Women, which was basically telling them to be just like men. And all of the books at that time were coming out to tell women, be like men. But the men were telling me, there's something wrong here. I'm not hanging around for this gold watch because I don't get the gold watch anymore. Or, I have to work for a boss, and the minute they take him out and they put a new boss in, suddenly work life is so much better. And so I really was concerned if I could make a difference, really, as a psychologist. It was in my early years. And so I asked first I asked 56 men if they wanted free counseling for a year. 42 said yes. 10 months into it, we decided we had to go another year. And
male bosses now need counseling, do they?
Well, I'm talking late 80s,
wow.
Early 90s.
I'm astonished.
Well, and the thing is that was when men were told, oh, you can't feel. So I was teaching a leadership course at Harvard and during the summer, so it was the executives that were there. And at the dinner in the evening, one of them got up because I was talking about the conflict between being rational, logical, and objective versus trusting your gut reaction. And so one of them got up and paged one of the other men who had been giving me a hard time during the day, and he said, "Hey, Jack Durliat, your internist has called. You don't have indigestion." It was a gut reaction to what Halper was saying.